Great job.
And we are live. What's up, everyone? Once again, we are back for the Live Clean, Fight Dirty podcast with UFC Coach John Hackleman, your co-host Angelo Ferrer. Today, it's a great topic. Is it worth dying for? In a self-defense context, is it worth dying for? John is going to break it down. When is it worth it? When is it not worth it? And everything in between. As usual, if you have any questions, we try to lately, if it's related to the topic, I'll try to bring it in while we're talking. If it's not, I will bring it in 5 minutes or 10 minutes before the end. We'll have a question Q&A. You can ask anything you want at the end of this.
Q&A.
Yeah. So keep that in mind. John, is it worth dying for? What are we talking about?
Okay, here we go. You're in a bar. You're with your beautiful wife. You have a beautiful wife. I've seen her. So you're in the bar and some guy walking by grabs her butt and keeps walking. All right. Now, if you ask 99% of the males out there that would say, I'm just going to go kick their ass. Okay. Now, we both know that we in America have at least 55% of the males here in California are beta males. They're not gonna do anything, but they're gonna say they're gonna do anything. What they're gonna do is pretend they didn't see it and then just go, oh, don't do that. Anyway, but everybody's gonna say that they're gonna go attack them. Okay. So now if somebody grabs your wife's butt and walks away and you're gonna go get them, what are you gonna do when you get to them? What are you gonna do? Are you gonna make them apologize to your wife? And if you are, how are you going to do that? Are you going to lay your hands on them, or are you going to do it by a verbal command? So say you did a verbal command, they said, I'm not going to go back there. So you put your hands on them in an aggressive manner. Okay. So now he pulls your hand off, faces you, and you punch him in the face. Don't ever touch my wife again. When you punched him in the face, his head hit the concrete, and now he's fucking dead. He's dead because he grabbed your wife's butt. You killed him, and it wasn't self-defense, not even close to self-defense. It was out of anger. Anger. That's all it was. It was out of anger. So he's dead. Okay. Now you're going to prison for the rest of your life. Okay. And that beautiful wife that you were defending should be fucking everybody. It's like you just did that for nothing. So, okay. So now let's say we'll go about it a different way. Some guy walks by, grabs your wife's butt. Okay. This time you run up to him and you say, hey, you grab him and you say, don't grab my wife's butt. He punches you in the face. You fall on the ground, and now you're dead. Okay? Guess what? His was self-defense. Everybody in that bar saw you grabbing him first. Okay, and there was no self-defense. He grabbed your wife's butt a couple minutes ago. He was walking away. He was no threat at all. But you, right? You wanted to hit him. He punched you, and you died. Now, guess what? He'll be at your house fucking your wife while you're dead. So it's just, and guess what? When the cops come, all the witnesses are going to say, well, he shoved him and he punched, our guy punched him. The bar guy punched him. And the cops go, oh, that's self-defense. Okay, you can go home now. He probably wouldn't even be detained. He would probably just be let go. He's not even going to be detained. He's not going to be arrested. He's not going to be anything. You're dead now. And your wife, who you were protecting her honor, right? What do you think she's going to be doing? You think she's going to be waiting for you and going by your graveside and, oh, my husband protected me? No, she'll be out at that same bar the next night. And this time when he grabs her butt, she's going to say, okay, I like that. Let's go back to your place. Bang. So you get my point here? Do you get my point? if it's not worth you going to prison for, you dying for, or you killing someone for, then it's not worth fighting for. It's not worth going up to the guy. It's not worth starting a fight. It's not worth it. Okay. Self-defense is for self-defense only. And that is not self-defense. That's just anger. The guy's a douchebag. He deserves to get the shit kicked out of him. I admit that. But then a lot of guys deserve to get the shit kicked out of them. But guess what? They're not gonna, because they have the law on their side. And we have the law on our side sometimes too. But in this case, the law, as much as the guy's a douchebag, he deserves to be hit. He deserves to be fucking brutalized. If he hits his head on the ground and fucking dies, morally and ethically, fucking guy asked for it. Fucking guy wants to grab your wife's butt. Well, how dare someone do that? He deserves anything he gets. But legally, you're going to get worse. So what do you think about that?
Well, okay. If that happened, I mean, as much as you might want to beat his ass, which is I'm always conscientious of the idea. I mean, like I said, we always talk about this. Right now I'm on vacation in America and very conscious about the fact that I don't want to end up in trouble with law enforcement. It's not something I'm aiming to do. So plan B be better to? I mean, I guess it depends on what kind of bar you're at. But if he's sexually harassing the patrons, can't you just let someone know and the security would escort him out? Isn't that the more logical protocol to follow?
That could be logical, but but then the guy's ego, all the guys I asked, their ego says, I'm going to go get him. Fuck it. I'm going to go kill. That's what they're saying. Telling the bouncer, that might be great. But then you're like the kid in school that's a little fucking tattletale. You can't take care of your own business.
Well, yeah, if the alternative is what you just mentioned, so really, what kind of choices do you really got here? You can what you just mentioned at the very beginning, which definitely, I don't know about you, I'm not going to go that route. I don't want to get arrested or end up in the other scenario either. B or three, the other one where you just ignore it. But you're doing it. Like, what would you suggest? How's that? What would you do in that situation?
What would I do? Okay, first of all, it depends on a couple things. Like, it depends on if it was like like he really did. I would probably, honestly, do something, wait for him somewhere, do something quietly, try to, do something where I'm not out there, I'm not being seen to do it. Telling the bouncer might be a good idea, but then what if he just says he didn't do it? Your wife says he did it. I mean, now who's he gonna believe? So that's one way to do it. But there's another way to do it is go up and maybe say something in his ear really quietly, something where he might want to attack you. Then when he's attacking you, then you're defending yourself now. So whatever you do to him would be justified according to the witnesses. That's kind of a touchy one, though. What if he comes and you say something to him and you stab him and so, or he stabs you, or there's so many ways it could go. I don't know. That's never happened to me. So
I don't. There's a lot of parts of that scenario that don't apply to me, but there's a lot of parts of that scenario that I have a hard time wrapping my head around. I don't really go to bars. Yeah.
Okay, it doesn't have to be a bar. It could be a fight. It could be at a fight, and you're waiting in line at the you're getting a drink or you're getting a soda or something at a fight, or you're walking out of a fight and there's a lot of people and some guy comes and grabs your wife's butt. Same scenario, doesn't have to be a bar,
True.
So what do you do? Do you hit first? I mean, when is it okay? When should you risk everything? You're risking everything when you lay your hands on someone. you're risking everything. And if somebody attacks me and I feel they're going to hurt me or hurt my family, I'm willing to risk everything now. I'm willing to risk killing that person or dying. I'm going to defend my family and myself. So I'm going to risk everything. If someone grabs my wife's ass, I don't think I want to risk my life or spending the rest of my life in prison. I'll probably do something. I might say something to him. I might talk about his mom or something like that to him, and then walk away. Just then I feel better about myself. But I'm not going to be stupid enough to publicly, start a fight with someone where you're going to lose both ways. You're either going to go to prison or the morgue, prison or the morgue. You'd rather go to prison, but I'll tell you what, I'd rather go to neither.
Yeah, no, I don't like either of those choices. Neither of those choices sound good to me.
So what is worth? What is worth? That's what you have to realize when you go out every day as martial artists. And I think about this a lot, and I talk about it a lot. My wife is tired of hearing it. Everyone I know is probably tired of hearing it. But when I go out, I want to know, because if someone grabbed my wife's butt and I hadn't planned it first, I might, instinctively, I might just hit him. Oh shit! Now all of a sudden, I'm going to prison because he's dead or I'm dead. So, but I've thought of these scenarios so much, and whenever I go somewhere, I play the scenarios a lot. So, what would I do in that scenario? Is it worth dying for? And it's no. It's going to almost be no. Is it worth killing for? It's almost always no. So since those two things are a no, that means starting a fight is no. Now, if somebody's attacking me, it's a yes every time, right? I'll give you just the one time in LA where I went running across the street because I saw a fight on the other side of the street. I remember that was one of my dumbest moves. And while I was mid-run, I was like halfway across the street, and there was a guy on the ground, and the other guy was hitting him. And halfway across the street, I just thought, what the fuck am I doing? What am I going to do when I get to the other side of the street? I don't know whose fault it is. I don't know the whole story. The guy at the ground getting hit, he might be a convicted fucking child molester for all I know. I know nothing about him. I know nothing about the story. He might have been trying to rob the other guy. So when I was getting like halfway across the street, I got my gun and my knife. I got my pepper spray. I got everything ready. But I was thinking, what am I going to do when I get there? I mean, I know nothing about what's going on here. So when I got there, all I did was I yelled, "You guys stop. I'm calling the cops right now. I'm videoing everything." And then all of a sudden, the bad guy who was on top, he got off and ran. And the good guy, everybody helped him up, and he thanked me.
I mean, you'd be surprised how many times things get broken up whenever you're talking about bringing in the authorities.
Well, you always know if you're bringing in the authority, if you say I'm video, or just take out your camera and say I'm videoing, the bad guy doesn't want you videoing. The good guy does want you videoing.
Yeah. So maybe couldn't that almost the same scenario be used for the butt grabbing scenario? Like if you take out your phone.
No. Take out your phone or what? He's walking away now.
It's not
How
happening.
are you going to time that? Like, you don't know he's going to grab it. You don't know until it's after, right?
Butt grabbing scenario is more difficult to deal with than the street fight ground and pound.
It is a tough scenario, and I think about it a lot. I think of all those kind of stuff, and the way you lower that risk is obviously stay the fuck out of bars, but everybody's going to go to a bar here and there. I mean, the best way to avoid rape in our country, the without a doubt, I mean, 97% accuracy rate of avoiding rape. Stay out of bars. Do not drink unless you're with a guy that isn't drunk and he's your boyfriend or your husband. You go to a bar, you're a female, and you're drinking, and you don't have a guy protecting you or watching you, your chance of getting raped or molested are 97. You got 97% of all of those situations happen when the female is drunk or been drinking. That's a big percentage, 97%. So it's like it's my first thing I bring up in an a woman's self-defense class. That's the first thing I bring up, and it'll cure 97% of the time. But people don't want to say that because, like, hey, I got a right to go to the bar. Sure you do. Sure you do. I got a right to go to fucking Afghanistan too, but I'll probably get shot. You can go wherever the fuck you want, but I mean, if you're gonna go be stupid just because you can, then I mean, I'm not gonna say you deserve what you get, but you definitely aren't being very smart, right?
So I had a thought and it ran me. So some comments that are related to the topic.
Okay. Good.
Zen says, I personally think all women need to carry firearms. He also says, shouldn't there be cameras watching? And then his final comment is, a professional fighter should be able to get away with it because they have money for bail.
First of all, I don't want to have money for bail. I want to have money for vacation. I don't want to spend my fucking money on bail. And as for women carrying firearms, that's just they're first of all, they're in a bar drinking. Should drunk fucking people, women or men, be carrying guns? No, they shouldn't be. So if a woman's in a bar, she might get hit on, touched by some guy. She's drunk. She's the wrong guy. I mean, come on. It's like, so yeah, women. I think everybody should carry a firearm. That's not a felon, is illegal, legally here. They're here legally, and they're not a felon, never have been. Then yeah, they should be able to carry a gun, but not when they're drunk. Just like they should be able to drive, but not when they're drunk. Yeah. What do we think?
So,
got any more?
Actually, that was the only one. But I think so is it worth dying for? Is it worth dying for? The topic being of when is it okay to engage? And I think, well, I guess, when is it then? What would you say is a clear-cut definition of when it's worth dying for you?
For me, it's my if is a when too. If and when I feel my life or my loved one's life is in imminent danger of death or great bodily injury. If I feel my wife, my kids, my people, or myself are in danger, imminent danger, that means not somebody said, I'm going to kick your ass next month, and then you go kill them. Not, I'm talking about imminent danger right now. Imminent means now, immediately. So if I feel like I'm in imminent danger, and people say, well, you go up to the guy and hit him. I mean, you're talking about getting arrested. Don't you say that you should hit first, always, first strike? Yeah. If you're in imminent danger of death or great bodily injury, you should strike first. But if someone grabbed your wife's butt 3 minutes ago and now he's on the other side of the bar, doesn't even remember whose butt he grabbed, it's not self-defense and it's not worth going to jail, killing, or dying for. Bang. What do you think?
I mean, I agree. I wouldn't, if I have to put myself in the same scenario, which it's hard, like I said, there's a lot of parts of it that are hard for me to wrap my head around. But if I ended up in that scenario, I just can't see myself starting a fight over it. I'd see a verbal warning. I see myself saying, "Hey," and if the guy's really out of it, and if I get like, fuck it, especially when people are drinking, which is why I don't like.
If I didn't have my gun, if I wasn't carrying a gun, because I'm never drunk. I've never been drunk ever in my life. So, but if I did, if I had my gun with me, then I would just not do anything. I might tell the bouncer. I might just say something but that'll do nothing. But if I didn't have my gun on me, I would probably approach him and maybe like say something derogatory about his mom and his dad and his family, something that would get him going, where I could have some witnesses maybe where he'll start something. That I might do that. I would never do that if I'm carrying a weapon though, because that's not going to go over.
And then I always think about the fact that a lot of the stuff I do, like I do things naturally. I caught myself today. Luckily, nothing happened, but we're in Vegas. We're in line, and the lady at the counter called me up, and she calls me up to talk to her. While I'm talking, this other guy comes in, and he's aggressive. He's angry. He's like, and I guess she didn't see him. I guess he was ahead of me. As he walks up, waving his arms in the air, instinctually, I put my hand out on his shoulder, and I was like, "Oh shit!" Like I'm not even like gonna hit him, but it's just instinctually, like he's waving his arms around. He comes at me, and he's looking at the camera lady, and I put my hand on his shoulder, and I said, "He can go first." Like he's been waiting for a while, and like he immediately calmed down. But I just didn't even think about the fact that as he came at me, instinctually, I already had my hand on his shoulder, and I even kind of guided him to the front of the line, but I was already instinctually hands on him. Like I didn't even, it wasn't even a thought. I'm thinking about it now, but my hands were on him first. Just because I saw him coming at me aggressively. Yeah. And I'm just thinking about like, it looks like on camera. Like on camera, they don't see what's going on. All they see is I put my hand on him, and then if a strike were to happen, well, my strike's going to come in first. And I'm just wondering, like, again, I wasn't even thinking. I was just, everything turned out great. The guy wasn't mad or anything. You know, he said thank you and he calmed and everything. But it could have gone bad. Not that he got.
Huh. Well, that definitely wouldn't have been worth dying for, huh?
Yeah. And again, I wasn't yelling. I was like, "Hey man, it's all good. You can go with Fred." And then everyone calmed down. I was telling my wife that I see people. I'm in Vegas, so I see confrontations going off left and right, and a lot of it normally are two parties that don't want to, they both want to hold their ground over something that's, well, you're just saying, well, the butt grabbing thing's bigger than the kind of stuff I'm seeing, but I'm seeing people yelling at each other, posturing over being cut in line, or mostly waiting or trying to walk and getting bumped into each other, like small stuff, right?
Yeah.
Someone's drinking, someone being bumped into and spilling their drink on someone's shoe, right? And they're like, a lot of posturing going on. No one's hit anyone. But it does have me thinking about how I was telling my wife this. I'm like, this, like, I'm coming from Japan. This doesn't, I don't see this kind of situation very often in Japan. So it's kind of interesting watching the fact that it's mostly a lot of posturing. Like I would say, so far I've been here 2 nights, or 1 night, and for 2 days, and I've just seen a lot of posturing. I haven't seen anyone become violent. Just a lot of posturing so far. We'll see. I still have 1 more night.
It doesn't have it right. I spent half my time in Vegas for years, and I didn't see that much stuff going on. I just drunk guys laughing and acting crazy. I don't think I've seen more than maybe 2 fights in the casinos when I was in. It just, it's kind of everybody's drunk, but they're in that in that party mode, and I don't see much. I didn't see much fighting. But anyway, what else? We got any questions?
Looking at our questions so far. Okay. Well, I don't think this is a joke. So Zen says, "What if they try to touch you?" And I don't think Zen means like trying to grab your butt. Do you, Zen? You should clear that up right now. But I think he means if they put hands on you, they put their hands on you, and I'm guessing it's not in a sexual manner. I guess we could discuss both, John. We'll start with a physical assault. Like you feel like someone puts hands on you, what would you do in that situation?
It's the same. It's the same as if they touched me already or didn't. If I felt a threat, any kind of threat of threat of dying or great bodily injury to myself, or they had their hands on any one of my people, then I would react exactly the same way with a strike, without a doubt. So if they put their hands on me and they're drunk and hey buddy, how you doing? Or puts a hugs me. I've been hugged in public where drunks just come up and put their hands on you all the time. I'm not one of these guys that go, ew, don't touch me, don't start a fight. Somebody comes up and hugs me in a fucking casino and shit, I'll hug them back and say, "Have a great day." If I sense that they're being violent or there's violence coming, imminently, then I'm going to react with striking and distance, etc. But if I'm in a bar or if I'm at a casino or if I'm after a fight, everybody's packed in and everybody's touching everybody. I'm not going, "Oh, you touched me." Oh, no, no, no. I'll just I'll touch them back and put my arm around them. And, I'm a pretty touchy feely guy too. But the second I feel threatened, it's going to turn, and I'm not going to say I'm going to win every time, but I will turn up. I will flip the switch, and there'll be violence coming.
All right, I think you addressed both sides of that.
Yeah. And the hugging, the sexual one, like if someone came up and hugged me sexually, I don't know. It depends. Cute, not cute. What's the? I mean, I don't know. If it was someone like, let me think. Okay, someone like Uriah Faber. I mean, his would be more like I wouldn't say his would be sexual. His would be more like, "Dude, surfer dude, all right, how you doing, dude?" That would be, and I'd hug him back because he's so cute, He's just a cute guy. And that's hard to say about him. It's weird because I've been, watching his fights, even towards the end of his career, he wasn't just cute and talented. He was tough as fucking nails. Okay, he was tough as nails. Okay, I'll tell you one. Um, who the hell am I thinking about? The guy from New Jersey, New York, broke his leg. Oh, you know what? What's his name? Broke his leg. He broke Anderson Silva's leg. What? Remember that?
I do. I'm looking it up right now.
Yeah. Yeah, it was, and then he got his leg broken. That was the weirdest thing.
Who broke Anderson Silva's leg? Chris Weldon?
Yeah, Chris Weidman. Yeah.
There it is.
Yeah. Chris Weidman. That might be different, I mean, a good looking guy like that, I don't know. I don't know what would happen, bro. You know what I mean?
The answer is it depends on how hot they are.
Depends if my wife was back in the room.
It depends on how hot they are.
That's so gay. That's the gayest thing I think I've ever said. That I've ever said on camera or whatever. You get it though. You know what I mean. I'm not trying to be anti-gay. I'm trying to be gay friendly here.
Actually, from the last 10 minutes of this, I would say not at all. I don't think.
But anyway, so what do you guys think about oh shit. Hold on. I gotta do this.
All
right. So we got that. All right. So let's reiterate this. I mean, this is a serious topic. We can make jokes about it, and we could do like homoerotic jokes and stuff. That's great. But seriously, if somebody's gonna lay their hands on you, right? That's when you respond. Not if somebody laid their hands on you or somebody laid their hands on your wife. Once it's past tense, then you don't have the right anymore. Even if somebody came up and like smacked you in the face, slapped you in the face and walked away. You might push that harder for them to get in trouble. But if you go up to them after they slapped you in the face and you end up either killing him or dying, right? What if nobody saw you him slap you in the face? You're the one that's going to jail if he dies, and you're the one that's going to die if you die. So, once it's done, it's done. You lost your chance. While he was slapping you, maybe if you're faster, you could have defended that slap and then attacked him because you were under attack. But you're not under attack anymore if they're walking away. So you got to think about that kind of shit. You don't people let their egos get in the way of that, and it's going to get them in a shitload of trouble. I think they're right. I think they're 100% right. I think if somebody slaps you, you should be able to do whatever you want to them. Beat the living fuck out of them. I think if someone grabs your wife's butt, you should be able to go after them and do whatever the fuck you want to them legally. I think you should be able to. But guess what? You can't. You just can't. And since you don't want to go to prison, and I don't want any of you guys to go to prison or the morgue, then you have to realize that and know you lost your chance. The guy grabbed your girl's butt. Now he's walking away. There's nothing you can do about it.
One of the comments we have coming in here, coming from 16th Eye, I've seen your video on how to deal with verbal threats. I've been getting death threats for the past 2 days, and I'm not sure what to do.
Call the cops. Call the cops. You know who's doing it? Call the cops and turn them in. Can you record it? Record it. And if you can't, still call the cops, get a restraining order, give him his name, whatever you know about him, and get a restraining order. And that's all you can do. You can't go to his house and tell him to stop or you're going to kill him, or now you're going to jail. So if somebody is attacking you or threatening to attack you, that's assault, by the way. And you can go to jail for that, just for that. So if you can prove it by recording or something, that person might go to jail even. But at least you want some kind of restraining order, because if they do attack you, you want it in writing that they already threatened it.
And lawyers are pretty quick on that too. I know a case where there's a lot. If you talk to a lawyer, if you're online and you're dealing with someone who you feel is harassing you online, you can show the screenshots, take screenshots, and show them to your lawyer, and they'll have a really great plan on what to do from there. So that I've seen.
Stupid enough. What person would be stupid enough to write stuff where they're leaving a trail?
You'd be surprised.
That gotta be one stupid motherfucker.
Have you been on the internet lately?
What?
Have you been on the internet lately? Have you seen the comments of some of these people? So here, one of my guilty pleasures. I'll comment. One of my guilty pleasures is looking online at the comments and watching people argue with each other. I don't engage. I don't get in. But the stuff they say to each other, man, yeah, there's plenty of death threats and stuff that I wonder. Like, I know that Facebook has a strict policy on it, and so does Instagram. But there's still a long moment where it's up there online. So, and even then, if it's on Messenger, because if it's happening in a private direct message service, it's not in the public eye. But still, you'd be surprised how people are stupid enough. I don't ask myself. I stopped asking myself if someone's stupid enough, because I've always.
Okay, so if someone is stupid enough to do that to you, then call the cops and get a restraining order. That's it.
So there it is. There's your answer, man. Call the cops, get a restraining order. All right. Well, that's it. I think those are all the comments. Is there anything else you want?
Quiet, huh?
Yeah, everyone's quiet today. I don't know what's today's Wednesday, and they're quiet today for some reason.
I don't know. All right. Well, shit. You're on vacation anyway, so.
Yeah, I'm on vacation. I'm just chilling.
Where are you guys staying again? What hotel?
We're staying in the Flamingo.
Okay.
Yeah, it's my first time being on the Flamingo. I haven't been to Vegas in 15 years, I think it is. I think the last time I was talking to my wife about this. I think the last time I came out here was for her birthday. I took her to the Luxor.
Oh, yeah?
That was the last time we came out here. We just hung out at the pool. Yeah. So yeah, it's nice. I can't complain. It's been fun. I had fun training out there too with you.
I love Vegas. I love Vegas. I love it enough to move there. But if my wife would, she won't. So yeah, I love it there. But so what? No other questions? Nobody wants to ask anything about?
Okay. Go on fire. Here we go. Quick question: Does the pit still go on the Kajukembo tree?
Yes, we are on the Kajakembo tree. It's under Imperato to Godin, Walter Godin to me.
Yeah, there's even a picture of you, whoever, and Chuck. I
Yeah.
think, I think if I remember correctly, there's definitely a picture of you.
Well, it
There's def-
depends what year you're looking at.
yeah, there's definitely a picture of you. On the one I have, there's a picture of you.
Yeah.
So
So
yeah,
yeah,
you're
we do.
seeing there.
I'm Kaji Kembo, bro. I'm Kaji Kembo to the core, man. I'm Kaji Kembo from freaking 1970 and shit, Honolulu, Hawaii.
And
So
then
yeah.
Mac Trey says, I hope traditional martial arts values don't get replaced by new age martial arts schools.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of a trick that's kind of a trick statement, like what does that mean? I mean, even traditional martial arts, you always had the fucking Cobra Kai guys, those kind of guys. Um, and then the other problem with that is the traditional martial arts schools back then didn't work. They didn't help you become a better fighter. They didn't help you where you can defend your life better. So what they took away, what they gained in maybe moral conduct, they took away in applicable self-defense techniques. So I think now there's a nice I think now there's a good balance of it. I don't see too many. There's always been douchebags in martial arts. There's always been bullies in martial arts, and there's been great guys, and it's the same now. I don't think there's more in the new age martial arts gyms. I don't think there's more bullies than there were back in the day. Don't forget, I've been doing this since '70, guys. So no, it's no different. There's great guys in martial arts. I think the greatest guys I know are martial artists. And then there's some terrible ones, but there's also terrible guys that fucking play football and wrestle and play baseball too. It's just so anyway, I think we get more good guys, more great guys in our activity than any other activity.
I felt the one thing I like about the martial arts community, I think a lot of people, maybe people will disagree with me on this one, but so traveling, because I do a lot of traveling. I've been to China, I live in Japan. When I come to the US, I'll visit schools, I'll visit any school really. If you have a traditional school, I'll visit your school. And also if you have an MMA club, I'll check out your MMA club. I'm not really particular about where I visit as long as it's a safe environment. That's one of the things I do have because it depends on the gym. If I see a coach is kind of turning his eye on some unruly behavior, I might hesitate to jump in there. But so far, it's never happened. I've visited MMA schools that I've never knew any background, especially when I was in China. I had no way to vet them because it's not like you can Google it because they're communists and they outlawed Google. So I went to a lot of places where I had no idea what I was walking into at those schools. Um, but lo and behold, in my experience, it's held true that most martial artists, whether they're doing kickboxing, MMA, something more quote unquote traditional like Brazilian Jiu Jitsu, are pretty approachable. And if you're honest about your skills and what you're doing, they're pretty open to accept anyone. So I think it's pretty cool that you can kind of have that common ground wherever you go if you're a martial artist. For me, anyway. How about for you? You've traveled? You've done plenty of traveling. How's it worked for you? How's been your experiences working with people from other arts and whatnot?
Yeah, I think again, I think martial arts guys are the best guys in the world. Yeah, and I've never. And there's been a couple times back in the day um, where we might or might not have gone into a certain gym on sparring night and had bad intentions, and then I've had guys as recently as when I opened this gym back in like early 2000s, like 2001, 2, 3. I had guys coming in all the time that wanted to prove how tough they were and they want to spar really hard they wanted to, just test themselves. And so I've been dealing with those guys forever, because we have the name, the pit, the logo, the yada yada. So guys want to come in. And so I've been dealing with those guys forever. And they're always, the majority of people are great. And then there's some that aren't.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, there's always a few out there that aren't that great. Oh, here's some more comments here. Mac Trey. Oh no, I can't. Mr. Awak with a 3. Awesome. I know the knee is bad, but could you have one of your guys show the roundhouse kick and foot? I come from Goju and Taekwondo background, and we pivoted the entire foot.
Yeah. All right. Tell him, send me a personal message. I'll send him a video on a roundhouse kick.
Okay. So there you go, Mr. Awak. Please send a personal message to John at the pit _. Did I say that right?
Yeah. No, pit _master.
Pit _master. You can, like I always say, you can just type in on Instagram. That's an easy way to get a hold. Mac Trey says, what if someone made a technological camera that watches your dojo practice and can detect which skills, strengths, and weaknesses that a specific student should work on using AI technology? Kind of a science fiction question. Well,
wow.
Not so science fiction. I think he's asking, how would you feel if are you threatened by AI as an MMA coach, as a martial arts instructor? Do you feel threatened by AI? I'll simplify it.
I would love it. Just like I would love it to help me teach. I would love it to help me market my gym. I would love it to help me run a better gym. I'll take all the help I can get.
I wish we could figure out an AI for the YouTube channel. That'd help me.
Yeah. Yeah.
So again, guys, there's 7 of you watching. If there's any questions, now is the time because we're getting close to our wrap.
Yeah.
Out of the, I said 10 minutes before. I said around towards the end. We're getting towards the end. I think we covered is it worth dying. If you have any question whatsoever, it can be anything. It can be anything, and we'll answer it. Might not be the answer you were looking for, but we'll answer it.
We'll give you some answer.
Yeah, we'll give you some answer. We'll give you some answer. So let me see here. No one's asking anything yet. I guess
we're good.
Yes. We're good. Guess we're good.
That's good. I think that was a good topic. I've done that topic plenty of times. I'm going to always do it because it's part of the training I think a martial artist should always go through in their mind, and just always think, not only what would I do in this situation, if this guy came at me this way, you should always have that without being paranoid. It should be so second nature. It's just second nature. It's not, you just always think that guy's right there. That guy, okay, I'll do that. What would I do if this guy did this? And you should also think, what would you do in other situations? Like one of the best situations I like is here's a good situation. You're walking down the street, you just got done eating, and you see some guy, right, pulling a woman into the car, right? He has a gun in his belt, and he's pulling her in, and she's yelling, "Help! Rape! 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 Help!" So he's pulling her into the car, and there's a guy behind the steering wheel, right? And this guy has a gun, right in his belt. It's sticking out of his belt line, and this lady's yelling, "Help! Rape! Somebody help me!" And you just walked out of your restaurant. What are you gonna do? What would you do?
Me?
What would you do? Yeah, what would you do?
I see a guy dragging a woman into a right. I mean, my immediate reaction, and it's going to sound stupid, but I'm probably going to get. But that's is it worth dying for, right? When I see someone,
is that worth dying for? Yeah.
I have to go through that same scenario. So you're going clearly saying that there's a woman saying he's trying to rape me, and she's being dragged by a guy into a car, right?
The back seat of the car. Yeah.
He's dragging her. Oh, in the back to the back seat. So the scenario is she's in the front seat. The guy's grabbing her, taking her into the back.
She's out of the car. He's pulling her into the back seat of the car. There's somebody driving, getting ready to drive away.
Drive away. There's a third person. There's two guys now.
Yes, there always was.
Okay, so there's two guys. There's one guy in the driver's seat, one girl being dragged in, it looks to me to be, she's being abducted, right?
Yeah.
I mean, is it worth dying for? I don't think my conscience would allow me to walk away from that situation. It sucks.
What would you do?
I'd step in. I'd I'd call the cops and I'd step in. I don't think I'll have time to say that. I think if I see someone being dragged,
since the cops are going to take about average response time is 10 minutes, so calling the cops isn't going to help right now. So are you going to try to stop it? Are you going to try to stop it?
Well, what choice do I have? It's either that or I say I turn my back and watch someone get abducted.
Okay, so you try to stop it. What if the guy's pulling the gun out?
Then again, I'm screwed.
Okay, what if so you okay? Or what if you got the gun away from him and you shot him?
Well, then I'm in trouble. Now I'm gonna.
Okay. And then what if he shot you? So say he shoots you. Okay, you're dead. So your daughter doesn't have a father. Your wife doesn't have a husband, and the lady, right? She just murdered this guy's son. Okay.
Oh, okay.
They're married. She's crazy, right? And that's her brother driving. They're going to drive her to the mental hospital because she just murdered his son, right? Their son, their husband and wife.
Well, like I said, if you walked up, right?
How would you know that?
Start talking and asking questions.
Why are you walking? How can you ask questions? This is happening like that.
If you ran on, what's going on? What are you guys doing? I'm going to call the cops.
Shut the fuck up and get away. This has nothing to do with you.
Oh, okay. So so they're not responding. Yeah, but I mean,
why should they? He just lost his son. You think he gives a fuck about you? Right?
True.
So now you just died for nothing. You died for nothing. It's like you were in the wrong. And if you killed him, you killed the wrong guy, and now you're in the wrong, and you got to live with that the rest of your life.
The alternate way to do it would be to take out your camera and record everything and just not do anything, and then record the license.
And call the cops.
Wait.
You see, you don't want to lay your hands on someone unless you're willing to kill them, because they're going to defend themselves. If he laid his hands on you, you would. So would he. So you walked into a situation where you knew nothing about, and you took the moral high ground, like you knew everything, like you're going to go show them, and now you're fucking either dead or in prison, and it was for the complete wrong reason. That's why if you don't know the backside of every story, then you should just fucking back off and call the cops.
So again, going back to the original part, I failed the test. He didn't tell me it was gonna be a test, John. Fucked up, man. Yeah.
That was a tough one. But that'll get you thinking.
No. So really, I think one of the best scenarios, what you're saying, the best way to handle it is to get documentation, since you don't have all the facts. Not make up your facts, but start gathering evidence immediately by taking out your phone and recording what's happening. Recording everything that's happening, getting the license plate number, and going from there. Like in that specific situation, if you see something violent happening, the best thing to do is to gather evidence, because you've already of criminal activity. So
now, if you're an off-duty cop, you do more. You're legally, you can do more, but as a citizen, you can't. Legally, you can't do shit.
And because of that, since you're not engaged in illegal activity, you're observing illegal activity, and the second you engage, you've now become part of the illegal activity. The best thing you can do is just record and report. Is that if I'm understanding you correctly?
Yeah, I don't think you're engaging in illegal activity. I think you're just wrong. What?
If you go in and if you physically engage, you are now physically engaged in whatever activity is happening, but you don't know all the details about, like we said earlier. So the best thing is gather evidence and back
to fuck off. Yeah.
The chips fall later. So we have a comment here. Oh, hey, if they want to do that, when we think we're wrapping up, our comment is, I was the Pit during the Liddell era. Oh, I've heard you talk about this, but yeah, let them know. How was the Pit during the Liddell era?
What do you mean? How was it? Like what?
I think they're asking what was going on, what was the environment like, what was the training environment like. I'll elaborate for them. Was it different? Was it
Uh,
going on now, or what would you say?
um, it wasn't much different than now, except there was a lot more cameras around. Um, I mean, there was a lot more excitement in our lives, but at the gym itself, the gym has always been like 97% or 90, it goes up and down. I'll say 95%, even at the highest time, 95% regular martial arts, traditional Hawaiian Kempo students, and maybe between 3 and 5% fighters. So my fight team has always been a very small amount of what really happens at the pit. Like we have, say we have close to 300 students, and then at the most there was maybe 10 people on the fight team. You know, but then when Chuck was there, it was obviously during his era, it was definitely a lot more, cameras and interviews and press and stuff like that. So, but that usually happened during the day. And then at night, like from 4 o'clock on, it's usually just traditional Hawaiian Kempo students. That hasn't changed. Except sometimes if Chuck would miss a class, like if he missed training, he had to go do something, he missed training, he would come to one of the evening classes and just train with the guys. That was fucking crazy. Because everybody, while he's on the bag next to him, and Chuck Liddell, they're like, he's already a world champion, and they're hitting the bag next to him. But my guys got used to that, and he even knew most of them, and such a friendly. Never, like if they were doing bag lines, he always waited in line. He never, such a respectful, polite, generous guy, always. So or I say, hey, all right, we're gonna do this now. Chuck, show us how it's done. And he would show us on the bag what to do and stuff. It was a great time, but it was a little stressful for me, and it wasn't my favorite time. Um, I went through a lot of stuff with that, especially towards the end, and then Glover coming, starting it. It just there was a lot of stuff going on, and it's the only time in my life where I actually used the word depressed. I was just because I was kind of depressed. I was like, I know I was stressed, and I went and talked to Tony Robbins, and that was my he was my savior. Tony Robbins was my savior. He talked to me and sat down and made me feel a lot better about what I was doing, what my plan was, how I was doing it. I mean, he laid it all out for me and talked to me about it, and we had an hour and a half conversation, and I felt better then than I probably had in years, and I've never ever been depressed before that or after that. So yeah. That's how it was. That was a long answer.
I like it though. There's a lot of history here. I like that. That was a good answer, in my opinion. All right. Well, I think we covered another great episode of the Live Clean and Purity podcast every Wednesday at 4:30 Pacific Standard Time. We're here live. We have our topic, and then we open up the floor to you. I say the last 10 minutes today. We opened up the topic in the last 20. But we always open up the floor to any questions, so keep that in mind if you came in a little late. Please, if you're interested in lessons, you want to learn Hawaiian Kempo, please check out thepit.tv. Did I get that right?
Yep. Thepit.tv.
Thepit.tv.
Come on in.
Come on in. You can take online classes, or you can audit the classes, see what they're doing, see how they're practicing. More than welcome to check it out at thepit.tv.
Yeah.
Thanks. Thank you, John. Thank you, Zen, Mac Trey, Mark, Mr. Awak, and 16 for questions and commenting. We will